Good afternoon. My name is Carol Shoemaker, and I would like to read a letter to you that I originally wrote a couple of years ago, but because of a mini stroke that I experienced, it took me a while to get back in the groove of things, and now I have set up a website, www.adopteerestorationact.com. And I have a personal Facebook website and a donation page for a national commercial to bring awareness to the general public and unite the millions of adoptees to sign a petition for the opening of sealed birth records, which can be accomplished through President Obama signing an executive order. So I'm going to read the letter. It's really self-explanatory, but there's much more information on my website, www.adopteerestorationact.com. The letter is Adult Adoptees Setting the Captives Free. I'm sitting here at my kitchen table thinking about a conversation with a young man who is just as disturbed about an issue as I am. We are both veterans of the military, and like millions of others here in the United States, we are also adult adoptees. Something else we share, it is the inability to access our original birth certificates and any other adoption-related materials that surrounded our births. We, like most others of you out there, would like to have family trees that we can pass along to our children. Captain Pete Franklin is from the state of New Jersey. He tells me that Governor Christie refuses to sign a bill that will break the bonds of suffering that we adult adoptees share. Yes, that is the same governor who has all kinds of celebrities on CBS asking for donations for families whose lives were so profoundly affected by Hurricane Sandy. I would ask Governor Christie to also prepare a public service announcement citing his personal reasons why he insists that millions of adult adoptees and their families, many of whom are in his own state, remain in the dark about who they are and continue to suffer, while petitioning for compassion for his constituents in New Jersey. There's something very wrong with this picture, and I, for one, would like to know what it is. True concern for our brothers and sisters is what connects us to our Creator. So I have a question for Governor and Mrs. Christie and other politicians like them. How in the world can you expect people to be kind and generous to you when you support a cruel and archaic law that affects the lives of millions of adult adoptees and their families? I know where my help comes from, and it is through the Creator, Yehovah, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. But I also know that this help comes in the form of other human beings, the Mishpachah, Hebrew for family, of the human race. That being said, we need a powerful and compassionate Hollywood celebrity like George Clooney, Denzel Washington, and those A-list Hollywood celebrities who have adopted children such as Sandra Bullock and Angelina Jolie, and who are adoptees themselves like Jack Nicholson, Melissa Gilbert, and Ray Liotta, among others, to make national public service announcements on primetime TV to encourage adult adoptees and other concerned citizens across the United States to sign a petition for President Obama to sign an executive order that would open sealed birth certificates, thereby putting an end to the antiquated and vile sealed adoption law now in the books. We adult adoptees and our birth mothers, who many times signed away relinquishment rights of their children under duress, are not little children and do not need protection from knowing the truth about our parents, our ethnicity / heritage, and other facts surrounding our births. And now a personal message to President Obama. President Obama, what may have seemed trivial to you, information about providing your birth certificate, is for us adult adoptees the lifeline to what is stated in the Declaration of Independence that helps us to enjoy life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I realize that your time in office is short, and you may care little for what we are fighting for. But I will pass on to you the words of several prophets and great leaders of this country, and since you proclaim to be a Christian, I am assuming you believe the following words to be true. The prophet Moses was a Hebrew adopted by the sister of the Pharaoh. He grew up as an Egyptian, but later found out who he was. It was imperative for Moses to know where he came from, to understand where he was going, his destiny. When it was time, Moses returned to Egypt and told the Pharaoh to let my people go. They were the people of Moses and Jehovah. The Pharaoh did not listen. Our next prophet is Isaiah. In Isaiah 61:1, he says, and I quote, "The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound." Adult adoptees are broken-hearted captives who are prisoners and are bound because they are legally prevented from accessing and retrieving their adoption records and original birth certificates. Our next prophet and Malach, or angel of the Lord of Jehovah, came to this world in the flesh as our Redeemer. His name is Yeshua HaMashiach, also known by much of the world as Jesus the Messiah. Jesus made a profound statement that most people gloss over. He said in John 8:30 and 31, as he spake these words, many believed on him. Then said Jesus to those Jews which believed on him, "If you continue in my word, then are you my disciples indeed, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." Yeshua was saying to those Yehudim, or Jews, that believed him, that if they continued in the Torah, or instructions given to Moses, that they were truly his disciples, and the Torah, because it is the truth, would make them free by loosening their bonds of sin, sin being the transgression of the Torah, also known as God's law. The principle is that a lie will keep you in darkness, and the truth or light will set you free. Yeshua was and is the light of the world, who came to fulfill the passage of Isaiah 61:1, quoted above. Adult adoptees have been lied to and are being kept in darkness, and therefore are in bondage, and are prisoners and or slaves. Our last person is a great president of the United States. His name is Abraham Lincoln. Perhaps he heard the voices of the prophets I quoted because he signed the Emancipation Proclamation and set free the slaves and captives who were broken-hearted because their families had been sold and given away, never to be reunited again. You, Mr. President, have an opportunity of a lifetime. You can fulfill the words of the great prophets and leaders of this country, and be heralded as a person of compassion who helped millions heal and move on with their lives by signing an executive order to set the millions of adult adoptees free from their bondage, by opening the sealed records, thereby exposing the truth and allowing the light to pierce the darkness of so many years of lies. Or you can take the path of the Pharaoh of Egypt, who hardened his heart and did not listen to the voice of God through his prophet Moses to let his people go and suffer the consequences. I pray you make the correct choice. Thank you for listening.